Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to completely shatter a massive historical misconception about the true origins of India's political structure. It's incredibly easy to look at the massive, sprawling machinery of modern government and just assume it's a relatively recent invention. But today, we're diving into ancient data to uncover a continuous, evolving legacy that will absolutely change how you view the modern state.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Is our modern bureaucracy just a product of British rule? It's a super common assumption, right? Most of us are taught that the sprawling administrative hierarchies we navigate every day were basically brought over by the British in the last couple of centuries. But the sources we're analyzing today present a really provocative contrast to that idea. We aren't just looking back a few hundred years here. We're looking back millennia to find the true roots of this whole system.
Because, 23 centuries ago, long before the modern era, the Mauryan Empire was already using a highly sophisticated administrative blueprint. We're talking about the year 300 BCE. To manage a massive subcontinent stretching from modern-day Afghanistan all the way over to Bengal, they needed way more than just a king. They needed a highly structured system. The concepts of decentralized governance and rigorous administration weren't just vague ideas back then. They were codified, practically applied, and immensely successful. We are quite literally living in a political structure whose foundational blueprints were designed by the ancient scholar Chanakya himself.
To really grasp the scale of this, we have to bridge a 23-century gap. While the 1947 British exit is often mistakenly viewed as the absolute genesis of our modern bureaucracy, tracing the lineage all the way back to 300 BCE makes it incredibly clear. India's administrative genius is undeniably ancient. We didn't just inherit a system recently, we evolved one over thousands of years. It's this remarkable continuum of statecraft that has quietly survived the rise and fall of countless empires.
Right at the heart of this ancient system is the Arthashastra. And listen, this wasn't just some philosophical musings. It was Chanakya's highly detailed, intensely practical manual for statecraft. Think of it as the foundational DNA of modern governance. It outlines literally everything from economic policy and rigorous taxation to the management of spies, urban planning, and forest guards, all with a level of technical precision that completely rivals any modern government operating manual. When we analyze the Arthashastra, we aren't just reading history. We are basically reading the source code of our current administrative hierarchies. And right at the core of that ancient text is the Septanga theory. Basically, this theory dictates that a functioning state requires 7 essential limbs. Elements like the Swami, or the ruler, the Amatya, the ministers, the Kosha, meaning the treasury, and the fortified capital. Now, what if I told you that this exact theory, written over 2,000 years ago, predicted exactly how our government functions today? It sounds wild, I know, but when you look at the underlying mechanics, the results are genuinely shocking. The facts brilliantly illustrate this point, because when you match those 7 ancient pillars directly alongside the branches of our current parliamentary framework, the structural continuity is undeniable. The ancient understanding of what a state needs to survive maps perfectly onto today, mapping its leadership to our modern executive branch, its treasury directly to modern finance ministries, and its administrative force to the civil services. It shows exactly how we organize our massive democratic framework today. It is the exact same architectural skeleton. So I want you to do a quick mental exercise with me. Strip away the laptops and the modern suits. Imagine just completely taking away the air-conditioned offices, the smartphones, and those complex digital spreadsheets. If you bridge that ancient Mauryan imagery with today's modern administrative setting, what are you actually left with? You're left with the exact same human mechanics of running a massive nation. The core challenges of governance really haven't changed.
Let's see how this builds into specific roles. If you place a modern IAS officer right next to a Mauryan Amatya from 300 BCE, well, the Amatya was the ancient bureaucratic backbone. Whether it was assessing local agricultural revenue back then, or managing district-level infrastructure and maintaining law and order right now, their actual function within the state structure remains remarkably identical. They are the essential gears keeping the state running. It's the exact same job, just separated by a couple of millennia.
Let's break down those shared mechanics real quick. We are talking about decentralized governance, rigorous tax collection, and highly complex bureaucratic hierarchies. The Mauryan Empire simply couldn't function without delegating power to local administrators and strictly managing its treasury across vast distances, and neither can our modern democracy. Both ancient and modern systems rely on these exact operational pillars to maintain order, provide for citizens, and basically keep the massive engine of the state moving forward. So, the crucial point here, and a huge takeaway from our sources, is that the DNA of Indian governance remains remarkably identical. This isn't just a fun historical coincidence. It proves that India's sophisticated political structure is this evolving legacy that has survived countless shifts in power, massive empires, and colonial rule. It's been tested, refined, and adapted over centuries. But that core genetic makeup, the way we inherently understand and organize statecraft, was established way back with Chanakya. Which brings us to a pretty massive final question. Are we really inventing new systems today? Or are we just running ancient software on modern hardware? When you really look at the data we've covered, it's hard not to see the Arthashastra as the original operating system, simply running on the high-tech hardware of today. It completely changes how you view the news, politics, and the civil servants working out there right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep questioning everything, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.